Get started. So welcome. This is session number 6 for our Pro Class workshop. Thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate on a Monday. Everyone's probably a little groggy from the weekend, but so thank you for being here. I am Caitlin Smith. I'm the sales and product trainer for Light Efficient Design, and I sit in the Middleton, Massachusetts office. I'm joined today by John Fredrickson, Nate Dennis, and David Gershaw. And we're going to be running you through some company updates with John, some rebate information with Nate, and then David's going to do our product update and give you guys a little more information on some linear solution, a couple of our newer products. And so as always, we're going to have a quiz at the end. Anyone who scores 8 out of 10 or higher is going to be eligible for a gift. We actually have 2 options for a gift. We have our brand new branded notebooks, our cute little mascot down here. These are really nice notebooks to carry around, hardcover. Or you can get an awesome little tote bag. I actually use these as my laptop bag, but they're great for groceries or carrying anything around. So they're nice canvas bags. You'll get those, and then also 2 winners will get a $250 gift card. So definitely stick around for the quiz. It's worth it. And it just reinforces everything that we're going to go over. So if you have any questions during the webinar, just feel free to use the chat feature. There's already been a few chats on there, so you can type in any questions you can have. I'll answer what I can. At the end, we're going to do a Q&A with all of the panelists. So if you have anything that you want directly for them at the end, we're going to answer those live. So, all right, let me get started. I'm going to run through our little intro here. And, all right, can you see my,
Yep.
Your Pro Class? All right, so welcome again. And as I mentioned, today we have John Fredrickson. He's our Director of Brand Marketing, and he sits in the Cary, Illinois office. Cary with 1 R, not 2. And Nate Dennis, he is our Director of Project and Energy Sales. He's here with me in Middleton, Massachusetts. And last but not least, David Gershaw, our Chief Innovation Officer, and he's also here in Middleton, Massachusetts. And you'll also, that picture right there is from one of our most recent rep trainings. It was a really great event. We had about 14 or 15 reps come out and stay with us, and we had a whole day of product training. And this was a little presentation by Nate there, Nate and Dan. So a lot of you have seen this, but we're going to run through it again. The goal of this Pro Class is to provide updates on both the lighting industry and on our company, introduce you to cool new products or important updates on existing products, present you with memorable product case studies, and to test your knowledge and an open discussion at the end. So John's going to get us started first with the industry and company updates. John, you want to go right ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Caitlin. For everyone, good afternoon. My name is John. I've been with the company here for about 7 years, and I'm going to share my screen quickly. Everybody see that?
No.
Okay. Everyone see
Yeah.
that?
You got to share your screen, John.
It's not, we're just seeing you so far.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm a rookie at this kind of stuff, so. Here we go.
There you go, you got it.
All right. See, I knew I'd figure it out eventually. So what I'm going to talk about today is our websites. So since the merger of Light Efficient Design and Remfoss, we've been maintaining and carrying 2 separate websites. So LED-LLC and then Remfoss. And coming soon here in the next, I think July 1st, we're going to go ahead and shut off the Remfoss site. So I want to make sure everyone out there was aware and updated the fact that that site will be going away, and we're just going to be maintaining our led-llc.com from July 1st on. So, but right now, we're excited to say that all of the Remfoss products are already on our led-llc website. So I'm just going to go through and talk about a few features there. And we want this site to be exciting and fresh, but also be a resource. We find that, you know, everybody out there uses our website to grab important information as quick as possible. So all the Remfoss branded products are online on the LED website. You can find them there, and I'm going to jump over to our website here in a second, but let me run through these few points first. We've upgraded the navigation, and what we mean by that is before, when you would scroll over products, for example, it would keep kicking you over to the right, which was pretty annoying and kind of cumbersome if you weren't really good with your mouse. So we've kind of fixed that. I'll show you that in a second. We've also created category pages. So we now have 6 categories that we play in here. So screw-in retrofits, pin-based retrofits, solar, work lights. So each of those will have their own category pages, which did not exist before. We enhanced our individual product pages, and I'm going to show you our solar, one of our solar area light products, and show you what I mean by an enhanced product page. We've added a ton of video content. So we find that these quick little videos that we do, and David has filmed several, a lot of our sales people have filmed some. We find it's a quick, easy way, watch it on your phone, watch it on your laptop, and learn all the key features and benefits about our products. And those videos are found under resources. I'll show you when we jump over to the website. And it's important to note that our videos are also, we have a YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, just put in light efficient design, our videos will pop up there too as well. Our new catalog, so we just have a new catalog that we launched at Light Fair a couple weeks ago, is on our homepage. So if you just scroll down a little bit down on our main homepage, you'll find our new catalog, and you can download it there. We've also added a new search function. Well, it was there before, but it wasn't very smart, I would say. So you'd have to be very specific about what you were searching for in order for it to find what you were wanting to see. So we've kind of, Mike Cristante, one of our employees here, has really done a great job of optimizing that. And you'll find it'll be much easier to find products using that. And then up in the very top right, you'll see a little sign in. It just got circled when I clicked enter. Excited to announce that we're going to have a rep portal. So that's for our sales reps around the country can go in and access key information. So, you know, PO status, shipping status, things like that. So stay tuned for more to come about those exciting things. And now I'm going to jump over to the website and just show you guys a few things we just talked about. So hopefully everybody can see that. If not, Caitlin, just yell at me. So real quick.
John.
Okay, thank you. Just to kind of show you live. So now when you scroll over products, which I just did, here's those categories I was talking about. So screw-in retrofits, pin-based kits, fixtures, etc. It used to take you over to the right before you could find what you were looking for. So now it's all right here, right? You can just scroll down. Hey, today I'm just needing some information on a screw-in bollard retrofit, nice and easy. Or hey, I'm looking for solar area lighting information. So you don't have to scroll over to the right and kind of fall off the cliff as it might end up happening. Here under the resource section, you can see we've got a couple different things here, but what I wanted to key in on was the videos. So under resources, a bunch of product videos will show up. And again, these are just great. Some are a little bit longer depending on the complexity of the product, but for like a screw-in retrofit, you're talking just a quick couple minutes to learn all about some of our exciting products. So those are found there. I'm going to go back out to the home page. And up here, you'll see the sign in that I talked about before. The search function also is over here. And let's go look at some of the enhanced product pages. Well, first, so category. So here's our new screw-in retrofits category page. So it's a all summary of every single screw-in retrofit, which then you can jump to the individual pages. Products here, now I'm just gonna go back. So now I came in, I was just looking for a solar area light. And this is an example of one of the enhanced product pages I mentioned. So here, all the information about the solar area light, but by enhanced, I mean, look at this. So now the documents, the spec sheet, the install instructions, for this product, we have a best practices guide, are all right here on the product page. You used to have to go up here to technical documents, which got a little messy, and it was really a long scroll down to find what you were looking for. Also here, if the particular product has a product video, and our goal is to have product videos for all of our products eventually, you'll go ahead and find the product video here. And this one also happens to have a quick podcast video. It's not too quick, but it was a podcast that David did actually live from our booth at Light Fair. So if you guys tuned in a little bit early today, you would have saw our booth, and he filmed that there. If we have images, so some images from out there in the real world of this, these are images of our solar light lighting up a parking lot. I believe it's a school out in California. So that's exciting to be able to reference. And then if there's a success story, we'll go ahead and have it right there for you too. So the key is just, while you're there looking at the solar area light, all of the information that we have is right there. So an easy one click for you to find it. And then as I mentioned, the new catalog is here. I'm back on the home page. Okay, so I just clicked our logos here to go back. And then here's the new catalog right down here. So that's the cover of it. If you guys haven't received your printed copies yet, please, you'll be receiving them shortly if you're one of our sales reps, or if you would like to receive some, please let us know or let your regional manager know, whoever your key contact is. We have a bunch of catalogs in stock and really a great resourceful tool. And you'll see on the cover, we have our 6 new product categories. And again, just wanted to reemphasize that we do have all of our videos here under resources. So if you just want to go ahead and maybe watch a few videos, our webinars are actually there too. So these webinars, or pro classes that we call them, are actually on this little drop down as well. So if you want to go back and review, or you have a sales presentation and, hey, what did Nate Dennis say about our flat panel videos, you can go back and go ahead and check that. And again, those are also all on our YouTube channel too. So you can find them there if you happen to have the YouTube app. And I think that is about it. Again, July 1st, the REMFOS site will be down. You would still be redirected to ours, the LED-LLC site. I just wanted everyone who is using the REMFOS site, please start to use the LED site. It'll just make it easier for you to jump to the proper location. So I think that about covers it. I am going to hand it off to Nate Dennis, and I am going to stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, so John, before you disappear, John, there's a couple of things I thought were pretty cool that you showed. You showed success stories. Mm-hmm. And so for all of our customers that have never really sold some of our products or worked with our products, they can come there and get ideas for selling. And then are we still looking for testimonials and ideas of best practices and other installations? And
absolutely, always. So back in the day, I mentioned I've been here for 7 years, when screw-in retrofits were still a new concept. I used to love to grab success stories. So like McDonald's, had a bunch of installations out in Hawaii, Wrigley Field here in Chicago. I mean, now we've got too many to even recall. But I used to love those stories so that I could actually do a printed piece on them, get some photography. And now that we have a lot of exciting new products, absolutely. So if you've got an installation that went well, send in your photos that you can take, anything, any kind of key information so that we can help other people sell these, especially the new products that are coming out. So just reinforces, how they work, how well they work, where they're working, and yeah.
That's perfect, John. That's really cool. So I'll bring up my presentation now, and we'll talk about rebates and incentives and our rebate finder out on the website. So hang on while I bring that up. So there. All right. So hopefully everyone can see my screen okay. Wanted to introduce myself again. Everyone knows pretty much by now I'm Director of Sales for our Energy and Projects team. And that's me. If you follow that little arrow, that's me giving a presentation at our facility. And at first, I wanted to tell everybody that I had in my hand here a very high-tech piece of lighting equipment. But Caitlin kind of called me out. It's actually a cookie. So if you want to get to know me a little bit, I love lighting technology and I love cookies. So anyway, let's move on. When you go to our website and you're looking to learn about rebates, we have right up in the top, and I'm circling it here with my my mouse, Rebate Finder. And that Rebate Finder is a terrific tool. And again, if you're looking for ideas before you go and do a sales presentation, you'll be able to click on that and discover what types of rebates are available on our products in your market. But before we go into that, I want to mention a little bit about the history of rebates, because it kind of helps you understand where we've gone and how far back and where we're headed to with rebates and incentives from utilities. Firstly, many of you might remember years ago, there was worries about brownouts on grids and what happens if people turned on too many air conditioners at night, would that bring down the whole grid? And the reality is maybe it might have happened a little bit in some places, but when they started looking at grid and grid capacity, people realized that the use of electronic items and gadgets and new construction and all of that was growing faster than what the grid capacity could handle. So there were some decisions made to try to figure out ways that they could alleviate the stress on the grid. And one of the most logical ones was to incent businesses and homeowners to buy technology that would be more energy efficient. And that would be the quickest way to reduce wattage while the grid capacity was gradually built up. And in most cities, the Public Utility Commission works in concert or in partnership with utilities to measure grid and grid capacity and electrical grid growth to make sure that we don't run out of power. And all of that today helps us sell more and be more involved with our customers, particularly helping their return on investment, helps them adopt new technologies, and another side effect would be green thinking technology, and that we can save energy and reduce carbon emission, etc. There are a bunch of utility incentive programs out there. I'm going to just kind of remind you about the three most common ones. In about 20 or 25 states, there's something called an upstream program. And actually nowadays it's now called a midstream program. And that means that point of sale incentives happen when the distributor sells to their electrical contractor. And let me position that just a little bit better for you. Basically, a manufacturer builds a product, works with the manufacturer's representative in the market, who works with their distributors, who then in turn sells the product to an electrical contractor who works with their end-use customer. And somewhere right about midstream of all of that, a cash transaction happens, and that's where you get your point of sale incentives. And this is kind of neat. In New England, for example, there's a rebate program for some utilities for doing HID retrofits. And as you know, light efficient design is king of HID retrofits, and there's some pretty good money there. There's also, and David's going to talk about stairwell fixture technology in New England, that's a $100 incentive. I took a look at a Midwest midstream incentive. You can see, once again, mobile-based LEDs for HID replacement, and we love that, so that's there. And then also a bunch of stuff on T8, linear T8s and U-bents and products like that as well. So that's midstream. The next one is prescriptive incentives, and that's where you have to fill out an online application, and they call it prescriptive because it's sort of like going to a doctor, where if you're having an ailment and they will prescribe a medication to you that's most common in fixing problems. So the utility version of that is that they want to find the most common items that customers would buy and give them a prescriptive dollar amount back. And so you can see here on my example, and I think this came from a program in the Midwest, you'll see RL112, and that's a new stairwell LED luminaire. And if you save 10 watts and the fixture is more than 100 lumens per watt, and ours totally blows away both of those numbers to meet the qualification, you get a $100 incentive. So when you work with your customers, or if you're an end user customer and you explore these types of rebates, you can get some pretty good money back to help the return on investment. The third most common one is called custom incentives. And the custom incentives, if you have an idea for your customer and that will save them money and it will reduce wattage on the grid, you can create a custom application or your own solution. And a lot of times we'll work with you on that to be able to provide a way to measure how much wattage you'll save and what the amount of money could be back to your customer to help them out. So it says right down here, if you get into that situation, come on and talk to us because we can give you some ideas. The other thing that we can do, and you can reach out to Caitlin if you need more help, is we're certainly willing to work with you or do a webinar for you or your customers on how utility incentives work in your marketplace. So that's something else to keep in mind. We can also help you with doing handouts for your market. This is an example of one that we worked with our representative in New York City, and you can see we created little pictures of our products and the rebate amounts, and it all goes back to HID incentives. And again, that helps you position those with your customers to make them aware, and they'll help you close some business and create that ROI. So let's do a quick, before we bring on David to talk about stairwells and our linear products and how they work together and how you position them, let's do a quick demonstration of the Rebate Finder. I'm going to share my screen here, so bear with me. Here we go. There, so I'm hoping that everyone can see my screen at the moment. So this is our Rebate Finder, and again, you click on that and Rebate Finder comes up. I'm going to show you, I'm going to kind of work my way across the country here as I demonstrate what this is. And again, this is an awesome tool, and I use it when I travel. Before I travel with a lot of the regional sellers in the markets, and before I go into your neighborhood, I'll take a few minutes and just kind of go through this, exactly what I'm going to do for you before I go and visit, so I can be a little more knowledgeable when I get there. So I'm going to type in the Boston zip code, and we'll pretend that we're going into the Boston market. And what I want to do is, under category, since David's going to talk about stairwell and passage fixtures, you can select which category you're working on or you want to discuss with your customers. So I'll do stairwell and passage fixtures. And what it does here is, again, it will give you some rebates. And you notice, wait a minute, there's no rebate available in Boston. But what you can do up here, remember we talked about two or three different types of rebates. We can click up here and say, oh, let's look at point of sale rebates available. And look right here, there's a $100 bill available for our stairwell fixtures on the midstream program, which is that point of sale program. So let's take a look at another one. I'll make my way across the country. I think I wanted to do Chicago, so 60601, and I don't have those memorized. I'm using a little cheat sheet. So here we go. So let's see what we got here in Chicago. So Chicago, we really don't have any midstream rebates available on stairwell and passage, but we could click up here on prescriptive and see what they offer. There we go. So you can see right up here on the DLC premium product, which is our primary product that we offer, it's $61. So that's a nice incentive. And I'll do one more. Just again, we'll try Seattle. Hit the West Coast here. 98102. In fact, I'll be in Seattle tomorrow night working out there with our sellers on getting to know our product a little bit better. So you can see right away on a prescriptive program in Seattle, you can get about $70 per fixture out there. So that gives you some ideas and some ideas for selling when you go out and work with your customers using our Rebate Finder tool. So what I'd like to do now is actually toss it over to David to join and jump in on this to talk about what he has in store. Here he is.
All righty. Thanks,
Go
Nate.
away.
Great job. That rebate tool is really awesome. So
Yeah.
powerful. It's amazing that, and my understanding is that we pay a lot of money for that rebate tool to be integrated into our website, and they have a whole team of people that are constantly reviewing changes in the utility rebate programs and making sure that our website is totally up to date. So it's a really, really powerful tool. Very cool.
Absolutely true. I'm impressed by how fast they get it done. So hopefully everybody on this call will take advantage and use that tool.
All right. Thanks, Nate. All right. So for product updates, we have some exciting stuff for you here today. So first of all, for the sake of this, to give you a little bit of context as far as what we're going to discuss for the product update, this is really going to be focused on kind of those back of the house corridors, stairwells, maybe restrooms, utility rooms. And over 50% of the linear lighting in North America is installed in these types of places, as opposed to maybe high bays or Class A office space. So obviously, 2x2 and 2x4 troffers and high bays are a super high volume item, but over 50% of the linear lighting falls into the categories that we're going to talk about here today. So basically, there's a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of places to make serious money, serious cash on these types of applications. Go get them. So there's a grid here. I want you to pay attention to this, and we're going to review 2 different products that Light Efficient Design offers in these categories to fill these applications. What's going to pop up on the screen here are 6 different actual real-life photos of before. So they're projects that our customers have done where they've had a fluorescent fixture in maybe a stairwell or a corridor or a restroom or utility room. And we're going to put them up here. We're going to talk about what fixtures they had existing. And then in the end of the presentation, we're going to test your knowledge, and we're going to go through the exact same examples and try to decide which product would be better suited for each application. So the first one here is a pretty standard 4.5-inch wide by 4 foot long tandem T8 fluorescent fixture in a stairwell. This is a university utility room on the ceiling, so it's an industrial strip about 4 inches wide, again with 2 fluorescent tubes. Here's a manufacturing facility. This is the utility room of a manufacturing facility, or maybe a stock room. And this, it's kind of hard to see, but along the ceiling, there is a single T8 fluorescent lamp end to end in kind of a continuous fashion. Here is a university restroom where they've got a 6-inch wide wrap on the ceiling. Here's a similar university restroom, except that now that fixture is mounted on the wall. And then here is I think this was actually low-income housing apartment building where you've got a wrap fixture mounted on the ceiling. So remember these examples. We're gonna review the 2 solutions that we have that are excellent solutions for retrofitting any of these examples. And then we're gonna work on it as a kind of interactive quiz at the end, which you believe is the better solution. So the 2 products that we're going to be discussing here today are the LIBC G2, and then also our new linear transformer, or LBI for short. So what's the difference between the 2 products? So first, let's look at the LIBC G2. It's wide, right? It's about 6 inches wide. I have one right here. So here's the fixture. It's a nice wide footprint, 6 inches wide. The benefit of that is that it can easily cover up. In that previous slide, we showed 4-inch fixtures, 4.5-inch, 6-inch wide fixtures, and it's a huge benefit, a huge time and money saver to not have to repaint. That's why we make our fixture extra wide. It's what I'd call a traditional large low glare lens, right? So it's a nice low glare lens. It's going to light up uniformly, nice and wide. You have plenty of room for emergency battery backup in that fixture itself, for that hidden motion sensor. So if I pop off the lens here, you can see that again, we use in all of our products, we use that high frequency radar or high frequency microwave motion sensor. The benefit of these motion sensors is that they're totally out of sight, out of mind. You don't have that ugly passive infrared PIR box off to the side. So these motion sensors will see right through plastic or glass. You don't see them, and they're going to do beautiful high-low dimming based on occupancy or motion. This is a higher price point, though, than the linear transformer LBI. So let's look at the LBI. It's narrow. It's about 1 1/4 inch wide. So that means that if you're going onto an existing wall that has maybe a 4 inch or 4.5 inch wide fluorescent fixture, you might have to repaint, right? It's 1 1/4 inches wide. Here's one of the LBIs. It's modern, thin, and streamlined look with a brighter lens. What I mean by that is that second bullet point on the LIVC G2 talks about how it's more of that traditional large low glare lens. This is a more kind of modern, streamlined, thin approach where you're going to have a lot more light out of a smaller or a less wide lens. So that means it's going to be a little bit brighter. It's not going to be a glare bomb per se, but it's definitely going to be brighter than looking at that really comfortable LIVC G2 lens. You will notice, though, that in a lot of new buildings, architects and lighting designers are going with this kind of really thin, linear approach. It's just kind of a newer, more modern look. You don't have emergency battery backup room for it in the LBI itself. We do have options for it as an external device, but it can't fit inside that small profile. And then for the sensor, whereas with the LIVC G2 I just held up on the screen, you can see that that sensor is totally hidden, out of sight, out of mind. We use the same sensor technology, but again, you don't really have room inside there, so it easily plugs in, really clean, but it is on the end of it. It's not ugly, it looks really nice, but it's not it's not included inside the fixture itself. And then this is going to be an unbelievable price point. If you look at the price point of this as using it as a utility fixture, or as a stairwell fixture with that sensor, or as a high bay fixture or a low bay fixture, and we have it listed under all those different DLC categories, it's just a phenomenal value. I don't think that there's any other fixture from any other manufacturer that can do what this fixture does at this price point. So here's a little questionnaire. This is something that I go by when looking at an opportunity, and those six previous examples that we're going to go back to in the end, the stairwell, that corridor, that restroom, that manufacturer's utility stock room, those were actual examples that I walked with an ESCO or a contractor or distributor, or facilities team maybe of a university. And these are the three questions that I asked them to decide, do I go with the LIVC G2 or do I go with the LBI as my recommendation? So question one, do you need to cover an existing fixture footprint? We talked about how that LIVC G2 is 6 inches wide, whereas the LBI is only 1.25 inches. So if covering that existing fixture footprint is important because maybe they have a colored wall and it's been painted over the years and it's a different color under it, then the LIVC G2 is going to be your better solution there. Question two, do you want a more traditional soft lighting appearance or a modern slimline appearance? Again, going back to on that previous slide, how we talked about the LIVC G2 has a really traditional, clean, uniform lens, whereas the LBI has a more thin, kind of modern, streamlined look. Question three, do you need a motion sensor or do you need emergency battery backup? While both fixtures have it as an option, again, the LIVC G2, you can build all that, integrate that all in, hidden into the fixture, whereas the LBI, that sensor would be plugged into the end, and that emergency battery backup kit would be an external accessory. So the LIVC G2, 10-year warranty, DLC premium, flex watt, flex color, flex control. Flex watt means that on each unit you have four different wattage selections. Flex color means that you have 3 different color temperature selections, and flex control means that you can order it with or without that integrated motion sensor that's hidden. So this is all about advantages to the contractor, to the end user, to the distributor, of taking all of these possible SKUs and shrinking them into one SKU. We have a 2-footer, a 3-footer, and a 4-footer. Each unit has the flex watt, flex color, and flex control options built into its standard so that you have huge SKU reduction as a distributor. Awesome piece to recommend to your distributors to stock. Here is a little comparison. So we're looking at the Remfos by Light Efficient Design LIVC G2 on the left, that first column, and then we're going to compare it to some common competitors that our customers see in the marketplace. And you'll notice if you look at the photos of those competitors, you'll see what I'm talking about, that really ugly PIR sensor, passive infrared sensor, off to the end, mounted on the end, kind of on a knockout. It's ugly, does not look good. So let's look through some criteria where our fixture really is the clear winner compared to those competitors. First, that hidden sensor, we have it, the competitors don't. Second, a lot of competitors that have a sensor, maybe it's not off to the side, but they'll have to cut a hole in the lens. We don't have that. Ours have a really low wattage. So because we have that flex watt switch built into it, right, you can select as low as 10 watts on our units, whereas a lot of our competitors' stairwell fixtures or corridor fixtures are maybe 30 or 40 watts. A lot of light, a lot of energy usage where you don't really need it. We have a high transmission, non-yellowing lens. So we put a lot of technology into the lenses of all of our products, but this in particular, this lens has a UV inhibitor. Also, it has a crack inhibitor, a flex additive in it, so that it's really flexible and bendable, and it can take an impact, and it's not going to crack, it's not going to bend or yellow for 10 years. Speaking of 10 years, we have that 100,000 hour L70 lifetime, 10-year warranty. Sensing motion through the floor. What am I talking about there? And this goes for both the LibC and the LBI. Because of our sensor technology that's very unique, that high frequency radar, if you've ever been in a stairwell that has a passive infrared stairwell fixture, fluorescent or LED, you'll notice that you really kind of have to get like halfway up the stairs before that motion sensor sees you and goes to the high light level. Whereas with our motion sensor technology, it's gonna, say you walk into floor 1, way before you're even walking up the steps to floor 2, that sensor is sensitive enough to pick up your motion. So you can sell it as a security feature or a safety feature that people, that the fixture is going to be at a higher light level before people get up to the fixture. And then, of course, as we've talked about a few times here, that wider footprint. Coming soon, this is exciting. So the standard end cap, right? That's how the lens looks on the LibC G2. It looks like that, right? So we have 2 different accessories coming very shortly. We have a brushed nickel modern style end cap. This would be really nice for bathroom vanities or for really just any corridor application or even stairwell where you want it dressed up a little bit. So this is a 3D look. It's brushed nickel color, and it's an accessory where you buy the standard fixture, and then these inexpensive accessory end caps can be screwed in the field right to the end of the fixture to really upgrade the look of it. And then also down below, you'll see a tamper-proof style, security style end cap. This is something we've had requests for many, many times, where even though the lens itself fits into grooves, I'll hold it back up here, 1 second. So even though the lens fits into grooves, we have these installed in so many apartment buildings, low-income housing, dorm buildings, where there aren't issues because it doesn't easily pop off. You can see I'll pull on it, and it doesn't pull off. But we are adding to our catalog these tamper-proof style end caps, which have a little band and get screwed into the end. And that means that if you yank on this all you want, it's not going to allow you to pull it off at all. So that's pretty cool too. That's coming soon. And of course, those 2 options will be, they're universal as far as being able to work with the 2-foot, 3-foot, or a 4-footer. Also, kind of a cool idea here is that for a distributor, say you convince a distributor to put some of these 4-footers on the shelf. I just say 4-footer because that's probably 80% of your volume. They can put some of these 4-foot fixtures on the shelf. They can put some of these end caps on the shelf, and they have the flexibility of not only all that SKU reduction with the flex watt, flex color in one unit, but they also have the ability to take that unit and sell it as that more upgraded modern style with those end caps, or as a tamper-proof fixture, but be able to use a lot less inventory than having to stock multiple fixtures that have those end cap styles built in at the factory. Here's a case study of the LIVC G2. So this was a large hotel here in Massachusetts. Originally, there were 4.5-inch utility fluorescent strip fixtures with lenses. They didn't want to have to repaint the walls, right? So they had, I think the walls had been painted a few times. They weren't sure the condition of the walls under the fixtures, so they definitely wanted something that was wider and larger than that existing fixture. They wanted the integrated motion sensor. That was important to them. Here in Massachusetts and a lot of utilities in the country, as Nate showed you, and you can check on our rebate finder on the website, have really, really sweet incentives, high incentives for stairwell fixtures that have that integrated motion sensor that does the bi-level high-low dimming. Here in Massachusetts, it's about $100 for that midstream, upstream point of sale instant rebate for a stairwell fixture. The end result was the customer was thrilled. They did about 400 pieces in their stairwells. They were going to go with an acuity fixture that I believe this was a Marriott property. They were going to go with an acuity fixture that had an exposed PIR sensor off to the side, like we showed in one of those previous slides. And the hotel management team really loved the look of not having that sensor off to the side. They just thought cosmetically it really equated with the, it really went side by side with the high quality look of their hotel, having that high quality fixture. So next up, what's our next solution for linear? It'd be the linear transformer. So this is just a little recap. I know in 2 months ago, I did the full webinar workshop where we talked about the LBI, that we can use it either as a retrofit kit or as a new fixture. So there, it can be used in so many different retrofit applications, but for the sake of today's discussion, we're gonna focus on how can we use the LBI as a fixture in itself, not as a retrofit kit. It can be used as either. We have that really nice design guide, cut sheet guide on our website that you can download. It really goes over all the different ways you could use it either as a retrofit kit or as a fixture. And we have it both ETL listed and DLC listed for both uses. But for today's presentation, we're going to focus on its application as a fixture, a luminaire. Two different versions. We have the base version and the pro version. The pro version has got some really cool features. It's got dimmability. It's got auxiliary control power for that motion sensor or for any other control system. Maybe you want an advanced wireless control system from Lutron or LG or Philips that we can all integrate with. You get that flex watt and flex color built into it. There's the little switch window. You get the 10-year warranty, L70 of 100,000 hours. But if you do want a less expensive option, we do have that base version. It's only available in a 4-footer, less warranty, doesn't have all the other features, but you have both flavors available. So as I mentioned, just like the LivC G2, standard on the pro version is that flex color and flex watt technology. A little bit different in that the flex watt on the LBI only gives you 3 wattage selections, whereas on the LivC it gives you 4 options. But it does give you 3 options for color temperature, 3,500, 4,000, and 5,000 Kelvin. And no shortcuts with DLC. What I mean by that, and this goes for all of our products, not just the LBI, but all of our products that have flex watt and flex color technology, that we don't take any shortcuts with DLC. I actually helped write the policy with DLC as far as how they look at these adjustable color or adjustable wattage products. But we spend a lot of time, a lot of money testing and certifying on the DLC and Energy Star lists the products so that there's a unique DLC product ID code for every single color, temperature, and wattage selection. So that means that, say, the 4-footer, where I'll move my mouse here, you can select 10 watts, 15, or 25 watts. If you buy this and install it at 10 watts and you want to file a utility rebate at 10 watts, you have a unique product ID code for it at 10 watts. It's not like the utility is going to treat it like a 25-watt fixture. So that's really important, and this is something that Light Efficient Design does with our listings that some of our competitors don't. So included with every bar is that incoming power cable, and then brackets and all the screws needed to secure it and use it as a fixture. Comes in 3 different lengths, 2 foot, 3 foot, and 4 foot. How can you use the LBI as a utility strip? So here's an example of a use up top where they had an existing junction box that looks like it was recessed in a concrete ceiling. You can see that LBI incoming power cable just routed right through the center of that, that existing junction box cover. They have a little white cover. And then down below, you can see an LBI with the incoming power cable going into a surface mounted junction box. So 2 different ways where you could use it, as a fixture, as a luminaire, as itself, kind of as a utility fixture. You can use it as a stairwell fixture. So there's a photo in the top left of the unit with that integrated motion sensor, right, plugged right into the end, easily plugged in right to the end. You can do some cool stuff. So I show in that rendering down below, you have 2 4-footers with that motion sensor right in the middle. So that's an option where you have 8 feet of light kind of, going up at an angle. That'd be kind of a cool way to do a stairwell application. You can use it as a continuous run fixture, right? So we have those seamless connectors. Right here is one where it's plugged in, but one of those is right there, and that's going to allow you to butt two LBIs up next to each other without any light gap in between them, and you can connect up to 40 of them in a row, a continuous run. And there's a photo of it being used as a fixture, a continuous run fixture in our Light Bar Cafe. Coming soon. So because sometimes, it's going to be a little bit tricky to take that incoming power cable and route it into a junction box. And I will note that we do have another accessory coming really soon. I don't show it here on the screen, but we'll have a version of this incoming power cable where the cable comes right out the back of the cable, of the connector, and not out the side, so that if the junction box is down below, you won't see it taking that right-hand turn. It'll come right up below, a little cleaner. But we have a number of accessory housings coming very soon for a single LBI or a tandem LBI. We'll even have a vapor tight housing available where you'll be able to take that really low-cost LBI as the light engine and have a housing box that will mount below it to act as your wiring cavity, junction box, mounting bracket, make it a little bit easier for some applications where maybe that junction box is in the center of that 4-foot bar and not off to the end. So that's coming soon because we know that a lot of people are thinking about that. Case study for LBI. This is a really, really exciting one. This is an awesome project. This is the largest public university in Massachusetts, UMass Amherst. Again, using it as a new fixture, not as a retrofit. Originally, the lighting designer specified an acuity strip fixture. It was lower LPW, didn't have the adjustable wattage, and it cost about 40% more. And they're using it in their 26-story library there. So you can see the library off to the left, 26 stories, super tall library, lots of ceiling mounts and stairwells. The result is they're using around 12,000 pieces, 12,000 pieces of 2-footers and 4-footers as new fixtures, as basically strip fixtures or stairwell fixtures. They got a really, really nice high utility rebate, both in those applications where they used it as a utility strip and as a stairwell, and they saved money compared to that acuity fixture that was originally spec'd. There's a picture of the library. These concrete squares, they're about, they vary. Some are like 3 foot by 3 foot, some are 5 by 5, but these are in the ceiling. You see these in a lot of libraries or atriums, government buildings sometimes, but they wanted to light these recessed concrete grids, if you will. And there were existing fluorescent 2-foot and 4-foot strip fixtures there today. So here's how they did it. This would be standing on the ground and looking up. The photo was taken looking up. And you can see the inside of one of those grids. You can't see the other edges, but well, here's one edge, here's one edge, here's one wall. You can't see this wall. But you can see this is a 2-footer, and they had those recessed junction boxes up top, and they're just routing that incoming power cable right through it. And they're using the included brackets. I don't think I have one here on the table, but the LBI comes standard with 2 brackets that are white. The LBI itself is painted white. You can take self-tapping screws and go right through it into your wall or into your concrete and secure it. So it comes with those brackets standard. So now let's go back to those 6 examples of applications where we talked about what was there existing, and then we'll give you a second to think about it and say, all right, should we recommend to the customer that we use the LibCG2, or should we recommend to the customer that we use the LBI? Which is the optimal solution? And of course, when you look at these, you could use either one probably in any of these applications, but I'll talk to you at least about why I personally would recommend one over the other for these applications. So here's that stairwell, right? So you got that fluorescent fixture on a painted wall. I'd say use the LibCG2. You have an existing painted wall. I believe this was a hotel. You want to keep it looking nice. You don't want to have to repaint. You want to cover that footprint. Here is the university utility room where you got that industrial strip. I'd say the LBI is perfect. One, you're on a white ceiling or maybe an unpainted ceiling, a concrete ceiling, so cosmetics don't really matter. And then also the LBI is clearly going to be your less expensive choice. So save some money there. It's more utility looking space. Don't really need the upgraded price point or features of the LibC. Here's that manufacturer's stockroom, utility room. I'd say use the LBI. Why? Well, you started with a 3-foot wide, pretty narrow fluorescent fixture, so they probably want to keep that narrow look. Then also you're doing continuous runs where the LBI is perfect, right? Because you have those optional accessories, the seamless connector or those flexible linking cables of different lengths. So you can really nicely do a continuous run with up to 40 of these in a series from one incoming power feed. Here's that university restroom. I'd say go with the LiveC G2. Couple reasons. One, you can see the gentleman down below. It's a pretty low ceiling height, so it might be a little bit glary to put this at such a low ceiling height because you're gonna have a lot of light coming out of it. So that's one reason. The second reason is you can see that surface mounted conduit coming into the end of the fixture. I'm sorry, the side of the fixture right there. And the LiveC G2 has knockouts. You can see some of those knockouts, and there's more on the other side on all 4 of the sides of it to accept surface mounted conduit. So it's going to be a labor savings compared to trying to do it on the LBI. Here's that restroom, university restroom wall. Again, I'd say the LiveC G2, you know, you're pretty close to their faces, right? There's not a lot of gap there. The large lens, large low glare lens of the LiveC G2 is going to be really nice. Also, you're covering the existing footprint. So I'd say that that's the better solution. Then here in that low-income housing apartment, I'd say use the LBI. You've got a ceiling, it's white, hasn't been painted. You bring that down. It's not going to be a big deal to put the LBI in its place. You know, cost probably really matters in low-income housing in an apartment building, and the LBI is definitely going to be cheaper than going with the LiveC G2. So just from a cost standpoint and the likelihood that cost really matters in low-income housing, that's probably going to be your better solution. So again, no right or wrong, no clear right or wrong answers with any of these applications, but just going by the pros and cons, the benefits of each fixture, that's why I recommend for these examples, the choices that we made. So we looked in that previous slide at that restroom, the before photo, right? This was an actual project. This was Boston University. They've used over 3,000 of the LiveC G2s in restrooms and in back of the house type of applications, corridors. And you can see that they actually mount them end to end. So they have the mirrors here. I don't know how long this mirror is, maybe 12 feet long. And this is 2 4-footers, I believe. So you can see the junction right there. They butt the end caps of the LiveC G2s right up next to each other. Looks great. Looks really, really nice, really comfortable, really beautiful way to light a restroom. Here's another photo just at the end. So in summary, in conclusion, we have 2 really great fixtures for back of the house, corridor, stairwell, utility rooms, restrooms, which account for over 50% of the lighting in North America. So the potential volumes out there are huge, and we as a company have 2 excellent choices, both great choices with pros and cons of each, different benefits of each that we just went over. So just great applications, great product. If you want to ask me any questions or ask any of the other panelists any questions, we'll stick around. But if you have to go, we respect your time, and we really, really thank you for participating today. You know, we're going to be doing these, as you know, every single month. This is our sixth webinar in a row now. We started in December. We're super passionate about putting these together, making sure that we put together content that is really relevant for you and for your customers, and make sure that if you have distributors or ESCOs or contractors, or utility people or facility managers that you think that these presentations, these webinars would be useful for, remember that they're on our website. John showed you how on our website, you can click on that webinar link and access any of the previous months, so any of the 6 now that we have before today's. And then also in the future, make sure that you invite them. When you get the invite for future webinars, make sure that you just review the material. So anyways, so thank you everyone for participating. Again, those $250 gift cards and some of those awesome prizes, you'll be hearing from either Caitlin or Rebecca really shortly as to who won those. And definitely in the future, invite more of your colleagues, more of your customers, more of your friends, because we'll be here every month, and we'll make sure that the content is relevant and pretty awesome for you. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Right.